If you're making a list of what's wrong with the Cleveland Cavaliers at the moment, I've got some advice for you. Be sure to grab more than one sheet of paper. Yes, the Cavaliers are off to the worst start in the NBA at 0-6, but also they've fired the coach who steered them to their only title in franchise history, but also the man that last night the team named interim coach this morning publicly refuted that title, noting he's not willing to do the job without a more favorable contract. But also, their best and highest paid player has a foot injury that could keep him out a month. And they can't beat the Steelers. Oh, wait, no, sorry, wrong team, wrong coach getting fired. Anyway, let's start indeed with Tyronn Lue, who in many ways is making out of this situation just fine, guys. No, it is not ever fun to get fired, but this has been coming to a head for a couple weeks now, with Lue clashing with GM Koby Altman and owner Dan Gilbert over how much to play the team's veterans versus the team's younger players. For the record, neither strategy actually worked. The Cavs have played both ways and lost 4 of their 6 games by double digits. But the fact that Ty had started flat out openly defying what ownership wanted should tell you he saw the writing on the wall here and made a proactive decision to go out his own way. Now, he gets to collect about $15 million in salary while he takes his time finding a better job, and he doesn't have to watch a bunch of losses pile up on his personal coaching record. Which brings us to Larry Drew, who you may remember also took over interim coach duties briefly last year. Drew is a veteran assistant, former head coach himself, and really the only member of the Cavs coaching staff experienced enough to step into the job right now. And he knows it, which is why he is using the fact that he has the Cavs over a barrel right now to demand, well, take a listen to what he said this morning when reporters asked if, in fact, he is the team's interim head coach, as the Cavs had announced.
I'm not the interim coach. I'm the voice right now. Talks went on all day yesterday. They went on this morning, and no type of settlement or agreement has been made. And I don't know if one will be made, to be perfectly honest.
Amazing. This is all smart and understandable of Larry Drew. And while the Cavs are the ones who got themselves into this situation, it's also understandable why Dan Gilbert might be reluctant to give him the contract he wants, considering Gilbert's not only still paying Lue, he's paying Lue's predecessor, David Blatt, and also still paying his predecessor, Mike Brown. You know, Mike Brown, the guy who's now the lead assistant coach for the Warriors and, yes, was still being paid by the Cavs while beating Cleveland in the last 2 NBA Finals. Anyway, so yeah. The coaching situation in Cleveland is still in flux, and so is the prognosis for Kevin Love. GM Koby Altman said this morning that Kevin, who has already missed 2 games with a foot injury, will now be out at least a few more. Brian Windhorst here reports it could actually be more than a month. This is not good for a team that has no other All-Stars. It's also not good for Love, who's trying to shake the notion he's injury-prone, and not good for any future plans Cleveland might have to trade him in an effort to bolster its future. The more time he misses, the less contenders come shopping for him, and honestly, since Love's not even eligible to be dealt until late January anyway, none of that has ever been as much of a potential fix for the Cavs as some seem to be counting on. Are we on to the second sheet of paper yet? Third sheet?
That's a stack of checks right there.
Have we discussed the overall roster problem that the Cavs have led to playing the worst defense in the league, combined with some of the worst offensive inefficiency, too? And, of course, this team has a LeBron-sized crater in it. But also, many of the problems here date back to the trade for Kyrie Irving that I will go to my grave saying they didn't have to make, and the trades they made at the deadline trying to correct and fix that trade with Boston. Basically, there is a lot going on in Cleveland. Not much of it is good. What the Cavs really need is a fresh sheet of paper. But in this league, it's a whole lot easier said than done.